Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, welcome to the 5th EGN Digital Forum Papuk Special Edition. My name is Marijana Perinic. Normally in Croatia, I work as a TV presenter, also book writer and a blogger. But today I will be your host, and tomorrow I will be a host. It's a big honor for me, and I'm so sorry that we are not able to meet in person, but thanks to the 21st century technology, we are able to see each other digitally. So first of all, let's go through some technical details in the very beginning. You all hear me and you all see me, yes. Can I see your faces on the screen? Hello, hello, hello. I'm waving at you right now. You look very, very nice for the morning, I must say. Kind regards from Croatia. Thank you so much. I kindly ask you right now to turn off your microphones, and if you'll be having any kinds of comments or questions, please do send your comments in the chat form in Zoom. Okay, thank you so much so far. Right now, let's proceed with some information about Geopark Papuk. So, due to a remarkable geological, biological, and cultural diversities, which rarely can be found in any other parts of Croatia, in year 1999, the government of the Republic of Croatia has pronounced this place to be protected heritage. In year 2007, Papuk has become the first Croatian geopark and 39th member of European Network and a member of UNESCO World Geoparks Network. Right now, let's watch the video Good Morning from Papuk.
In the eastern part of Croatia, in the Slavonian Valley, which used to be the bottom of Pannonian Sea, you will find mountains that rise to almost 1,000 meters above sea level. One of those mountains is Papuk, the most beautiful mountain in Slavonia. Let's take a walk through the places that tell the 600 million years old story of planet Earth. Rupnica is a unique phenomenon in the world. Created by volcanic activity, it is a natural mosaic of rocks arranged like giant rocky steps. The educational trail in Rupnica talks about the phenomenon of these rocks, volcanic pillars, and tells the story of the volcanoes of the world and the sleepy Rupnica volcano. Just a few kilometers away from Rupnica, there is another exceptional geological area, the Trešnjevica Quarry. You can find many different types of rocks here: rhyolite, andesite, basalt, tuff, granite, pegmatite, gneiss, and migmatite. It is a breathtaking sight which uncovers the insides of a mountain. While taking a walk on the educational trail near Jedovica, you will come across two giants. These 500-year-old oak trees are protected natural monuments. Giant oak trees are some of the oldest living organisms in Slavonia. On the craggy rocks of Papuk, surrounded by the freshness of the forests, you will find the Ružica fortress, the crown of Papuk, a witness of ages untold. The creation of the fortress is shrouded in mystery. With time, mysteries turn into secrets, and secrets seek answers in legends. This is why the legend of Ružica fortress says that the fortress was once a gathering place for fairies. If you want answers to your questions about life on Papuk from 16 million years ago until today, you can visit the House of the Pannonian Sea in Velika. Using the most advanced technology, you will find out about life in this area and which part of it is still present today in the newly furnished Educational Visitor Center. The view from the mountain is every climber's reward for climbing to the top. The top of Mališčak provides a beautiful view of hill slopes, while early risers can enjoy the priceless experience of the sunrise. The Geo-Info Center in Vocin, financed by the Geostories of the UNESCO Geopark project, is one of the most significant projects in Geopark Papuk. This interactive multimedia center is the place where we will travel through the entire history, all the way to the forming of our planet, while the 3D halls will allow us to stop at the historical and geological aspects of Papuk.
When I climbed these rocks, my soul couldn't have had enough of the view of the valley. I have chosen this place as my lookout for the ages to come.
Thus spoke nobleman Josip Janković. In the most beautiful part of Jankovac Forest Park, near the mountain lodge, Jankovac Lakes and the magnificent 35 meters tall Skakavac waterfall, you will find the Count's Path, named after Count Josip Janković. This mountain valley full of freshness and romance was always attractive to every admirer of nature, mountains, and peace.
And I do hope that you really enjoyed this tour. Right now, let's hear some welcome speeches. First of all, we'll watch a video with a welcome speech held by Mr. Alen Jurenac. He is the principal of Geopark Papuk.
Poštovane dame i gospodo, cijenjeni kolege, na samom početku želim vam u ime Papuk UNESCO Geoparka dobrodošlicu na 5. EGN Digital Forum Special Papuk Edition. Iznimna nam je čast biti domaćin ovakvog događaja u kojem smo okupili 88 geoparkova iz cijele Europe. Geopark Papuk je prvi hrvatski geopark koji je postao dio europske i svjetske UNESCO-ve mreže geoparkova. Žao nam je što niste sa nama ovdje i što nećete uživo moći doživjeti Papuk i sve njegove prirodne ljepote svim svojim osjetilima. No kroz kreativan program i virtualne ture koje smo vam pripremili, u sljedeća 2 dana ćemo vam pokušati približiti barem jedan dio onoga što Papuk pruža. Svima želim da ovaj sastanak bude produktivan i zanimljiv, te da ovo online vrijeme iskoristimo za nove ideje i vizije, te da se upoznamo sa svim ciljevima i aktivnostima koje nas očekuju u budućnosti. S nadom da ćemo se sljedeće godine svi vidjeti uživo na nekoj novoj lokaciji, šaljem vam najtoplije pozdrave s gore koja pamti more u svoje ime i u ime svih zaposlenika Parka prirode Papuk.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jurenac, for this nice words. So right now, let's proceed with another welcome speech, which will be held by Mr. Igor Kreitmeyer. He is the president of Croatian UNESCO Geoparks Committee.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a warm welcome on behalf of Ministry of Economy and Sustainable Development of the Republic of Croatia. To begin with, I would like to congratulate Geopark Papuk on the organization of the 5th Digital Forum for European Geoparks Network, Papuk Special Edition. In 2007, Papuk Nature Park was inscribed in the list of geoparks under UNESCO protection as the first geopark in Croatia due to its exceptional geological diversity. The status of UNESCO Geopark not only contributes to the protection of the parks itself, but it's also extremely significant for the local community and the sustainable development of the wider area. With significant investments into the visitor infrastructure, the park improved the quality of its offer, leading to an increased visitor interest. In this way, conditions for new business opportunities for the local population and family-run farms producing world-class traditional products were created. On this occasion, I would like to stress the importance of the effective management and protection of this area. Geodiversity is a precondition for the existence of our natural ecosystems, as we know them. Geodiversity supports biodiversity, and together they provide man with basic necessities for life, such as drinking water, food production, clean air, recreation, etc. Considering the increasingly intense extreme phenomena caused by climate change, we can say with certainty that the conservation of geodiversity and biodiversity ensures the persistence of heterogeneity of natural habitats, as this is the key to the resilience of the living world in challenging climate future. In April 2019, Vis archipelago was designated as the second geopark in Croatia. Geopark Biokovo-Imotski Jezera is under the evaluation, and I wish it success in joining the global UNESCO Geoparks network. I wish you all a lot of success in your future work and productive digital forum. And of course, we invite you to visit Geopark Papuk and Croatia as soon as you get a chance. Thank you.
And thank you so much for this nice welcoming words. Right now in studio in Požega, you have to know that Požega is a little town just below the Geopark Papuk. I have one lady in the studio. She came yesterday from Norway, and I'm so happy to have her here in the studio with me. I know that you all know her. She's the EGN coordinator, Miss Kristen Ragnes. Hello, Kristen.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Can't wait to hug you one day.
Well, in the future, we hope that will be possible.
Properly. How do you like it so far in Croatia?
Well, I arrived here yesterday in the dark, I have been able to look a little bit out today, but I'm happy to be here. And always when we travel like this, the most important thing when you visit a new place is actually all of you people. But I must say that I feel very lucky and very happy that I can also be able to see a little bit of Papuk Geopark later today and maybe also tomorrow.
Yes,
so
tomorrow.
For sure I will enjoy it.
Okay, you're right now welcome to have your welcome speech.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, dear colleagues, I'm delighted to see you here. I can see a lot of your faces on the screens here. I'm happy to be here in Papuk. I'm honored to be here. I feel very sorry that we are not able to be here all together. As you know, we were supposed to have the meeting here 1.5 years ago. Thank you very much, Goran, Tiana and Mariana, and all the rest of the team for providing this opportunity to have a kind of hybrid meeting where you will taste in one digital way the Papuk Geopark. I will taste it in real life, so that's nice for me. But we will do also the digital forum agendas. And maybe you have seen also from the agenda, the main theme was going to be, or it is, resilience. And during this time, we have seen this summer so many effects, so many strange things happen. It has been flooding in geoparks, it has been fires, forest fires, it's drought, it's earthquakes. So as you can see from the agenda, I hope you will like the presentations that will be concerning these items, based also upon the ICCP report, the reports on the loss of geodiversity, biodiversity. We think this reflects what we do in geoparks concerning these important items. We will come back to this. Right now, I will just say, hope you will enjoy. Hope you will stay with us for all the meetings, the 2 days. And I will just leave it to you again now, Tiana.
Thank you. You will be my perfect co-host today.
Okay.
The whole day and tomorrow. Right now, let's go to the Zoom and let's go and greet our president of EGN. Kalimera, Mr. Zouros, how are you?
Kalimera.
Kalimera.
Good morning to everybody.
Hello.
It's a great pleasure in the name of the Global Geoparks Network to greet today and colleagues participating in the 5th European Network Digital Forum. Unfortunately, the pandemic, we didn't manage to be there with you. We tried a lot for several months to achieve the conditions in order to celebrate in Papuk the 20th anniversary of our European network, which is the part, I would say, the most vivid part of the global Geoparks network. Is the biggest regional network with so many different geoparks presenting European geological heritage as an element of development and prosperity for the local communities living in rural areas across Europe. For us, it's extremely important that the European Geoparks network continues with effort of all the colleagues of all the European geoparks, their effort to keep the network alive, to keep every connection possible between our members, because our task becomes more difficult. But geoparks are for the difficult. We always say that geoparks are not just about rocks, are mainly about people. And especially in this difficult period, geoparks have to support the local communities around Europe in order to overpass the difficulties and have a window of hope for the next day that sooner or or later will come. And we hope that all together we will manage to pass the current difficulties and very soon to be all together. We have to come back in Brussels. We have to come back to Papua. And we hope that this will be just an intermediate event to keep the continuity of our network, but for sure we have to come back. Thank you so much in the name of the 169 geoparks for the splendid organization, for the hard work that you have done, and for all the achievements. Papuk is always in our heart.
Thank you so much for these inspiring words. I hope to meet you also very soon in Croatia. Right now, let's hear another welcome speech. Also, I'm greeting Mr. Christopher Wanderberg from UNESCO Earth Science and Geohazard Risk Reduction Section. Christoph, do you hear me? Are we online? Let's check out. If not, then maybe we can go back to the welcome speech a little bit more.
He's there.
Is here? Yes. Hello. Good morning. Do you hear me?
Absolutely, loud and clear. I'm very sorry. I was struggling after 2 years living on a digital platform. I'm still struggling with my headset. I hope you hear me now.
Yes, we do hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We're very warm welcome as well on behalf of UNESCO, and very great to see you all. I regret as well that I cannot be there in person. I think I still think that nothing beats a personal contact and being able to chat with each other over a coffee. But in the meanwhile, I know that as well that we've become very handy in this kind of digital platforms, and I see as well how many people we can reach with this. And I'm very glad to see this very professional start of this event. So I'm really excited as well for the next coming 2 days. Let me absolutely thank here the PAPUC team for making this possible despite these complicated circumstances. I'm very happy to be here as well with all the European colleagues. I'm very grateful, and I think I would like to express as well, maybe in the first place, their understanding and their flexibility for their cooperation over the last months and for the coming months. You know that we are facing a lot of evaluation and revalidation missions. It's part of the process, and I'm very happy that many of, actually about 30 of these missions are planned right now. And I don't take this for granted. I really understand that this is risk management, and I'm very happy that many people decided to go along with this, and that we can cooperate. And I think this is very much in line with the cooperation that we've had with the European Geoparks network over the last years. It's the biggest network. It's one of the longest standing networks, but it's also an extremely cooperative network. And I would like to mention here as well the support that we're receiving in this big strategy that UNESCO engaged in, and to promote the geoparks concept in Africa and the Arab states and the small island development states. We receive a tremendous support here from the European Geoparks Network. Many people committed to help us in this, and we absolutely appreciate this. So a big thanks to this, and very happy to work on this together. Very briefly, thank also the EGN and PAPUC for the choice of this, the theme of these 2 days. I think resilience, it's extremely important. I don't have to explain everyone. It is something that is just going to take more importance over the next coming years, be it in wildfires, floods. We've seen it as well. Nobody is safe from harm. I mean, it's touching all of us, and we've seen it over the summer as well. So my thoughts and my sympathy are certainly with the victims and with the people that suffered from this. And for UNESCO, this is something that we take very serious as well. And we're happy that European geoparks are taking the lead in this. So I'm very excited to see the testimonies, the different good examples that we will hear over the next coming 2 days. And I hope that it serves as inspiration for the network, but also for UNESCO. Thanks once again on behalf of UNESCO to the PAPUC team, and I wish you all a very exciting and nice 2 days. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christoph. Right now, I don't know, dear participants, if you already had breakfast, but right now we will make original local papuk breakfast. That's why I'm right now transferring myself to the kitchen. I'm like Houdini today. Hello, hello, hello. I have my two guests here. Miss Tatiana Ordanic is from the family farm Ferris Whisper. Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to Papuk.
From Papuk, yes, and also a very famous chef and a cook. He's my actually colleague, TV presenter Hrvoje Krajinović.
Good morning, Mariana.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Okay, Tatiana, what are we making today? Just in short.
Okay, so I took with myself several herbal teas.
Okay.
So we will prepare today my favorite blend, wild thyme and apple mint.
Apple mint tea. Okay.
Tea, yes.
Okay, this is the perfect combination.
Yes, of course.
I have to come to your place and try it. Okay, this afternoon. You're free, yes?
You're welcome.
Okay, and Hrvoje, you're stirring something.
Yes, I'm early bird, so I already prepare homemade jam from plums, and also I will prepare cookies with marmalade.
Cookies with marmalade.
Yes, it's a perfect match for this tea.
Okay, okay. Perfect match. So tea, cookies, and marmalade for today. Okay, but right now, I suggest that we watch a video, Family Farm, Tatiana Ordanic, Ferris Whisper.
Ferris Whisper is an eco-farmstead owned by Tatiana Ordanic and Slavko Bertosi. They have restored an old house in Markovac Požeški, a mostly abandoned village in the heart of the oldest Slavonian hill, Nature Park and Geopark Papuk. Tatiana, who used to be a city girl from Osijek, has traveled all around the world, from Scotland to India. After traveling the world, she realized that she can build a future on the slopes on Papuk and pick up a machete.
Ja sam Tatjana Ordanić, nalazimo se u Markovcu, u selu u šumi, okruženo šumom. I ja sam ovdje pokrenula ekološko imanje 2009. godine i od tada je sve u ekološkoj proizvodnji. Počela sam se baviti sakupljanjem ljekovitog bilja i kako je ovo sve bilo zaraslo u šikaru, jer je bilo selo napušteno od rata, počeli smo krčiti i okrčili smo otprilike do sada jedno 20 hektara, tako da imamo različitu proizvodnju od žitarica, lucerne, povrća, bobičastog voća i ljekovitog bilja. Zaokružujemo cijele procese od proizvodnje, prerade do gotovih proizvoda, kao što su nam recimo čajevi. Mi se nalazimo vrlo blizu granica geoparka, Parka prirode Papuk i imamo vrlo dobru suradnju s njima. Zašto sam baš izabrala ovo područje? Zato što je ovo područje jako prirodno, priroda je ovdje jako čista još uvijek i naprosto je ovdje jedan poseban mir i zaista se ovdje može živjeti u suživotu sa prirodom.
At the edges of the thicket, you will find an abundance of naturally occurring medicinal plants that they harvest, dry for teas, and use for making syrup, oil, and cream. They have put their farmstead under ecological supervision from the very beginning.
Što se tiče same proizvodnje ljekovitog bilja i začinskog bilja, na oranicama imamo otprilike svake godine nekoliko hektara, između 1,5 i 5 hektara kamilice. Imamo oko 1000 kvadrata mente i oko 1000 kvadrata melise, 400 kvadrata nevena. Ostalo začinsko bilje uzgajamo u povišenim gredicama u vrtu i jedan dio tako još beremo ovdje u prirodi. Nakon toga ga dorađujemo, meljemo, pakiramo u vrećice i tako ga distribuiramo na tržište.
There is always some work to do on this homestead, regardless of the season. Every day is different and unpredictable. However, they never give up and continue to work diligently and vigorously.
Radimo sve sami, čak smo strojeve sve sami za doradu napravili, sušare smo sami napravili. Sam proces traje od kad kreće ljekovito bilje, ali ovisi koje, znači u proljeće od veljače, od ožujka i završno negdje sa prvim mrazovima, znači polovina 11. mjeseca, do tada se bilje može brati.
On the Fairies Whisper farmstead, hard-working hands are also preparing various cosmetics products using medicinal plants. Distillation is both a science and an art form, a skilled trade that one needs to learn in practice and theory. It needs to be adapted for each individual species of medicinal plants. During this process, the distiller needs to take into account water hardness, water vapor temperature, the duration of distillation, air pressure, the shape of the cauldron, the material, but also the preparation of the plant material.
Estragon je isto začinska ljekovita biljka i znači početak cvatnje, najveća količina esencijalnog ulja. Biljku smo isjeckali i stavili smo u destilator, to je vodeno-parna destilacija, znači voda dolje kuha, stvara paru, para prolazi kroz biljku i na taj način iznosi esencijalna ulja putem pare koja se poslije kondenzira i iz kondenzatora izlazi cvjetna vodica koja je zasićena sa esencijalnim uljem koje se nakon toga postupkom odvajanja ulja od vode odvoji i esencijalno ulje dalje se koristi u aromaterapiji, a isto tako hidrolati ili cvjetne vodice se koriste, mogu se koristiti i za masaže, mogu se koristiti za kreme, znači za razne kozmetičke pripravke.
The miraculous elixirs made from curry plant are used to treat many different kinds of illness, but this plant is most popular for its use in cosmetic products. Tatiana showed us the process of curry plant maceration. The final product of curry plant maceration is used to create cosmetic products which make the skin shiny and reduce wrinkles and stains on the face by balancing the skin pigment. Natural surroundings, a healthy work ethic, and the mission to bring visitors who want to enjoy the beauty of this place, indulge in the best produce, homemade honey, medicinal plants, organic fruit and vegetables. These are the main things that motivate Tatiana and Slavko to continue working. This is why they devote a part of their time to educating visitors on the importance of sustainable agriculture and ecological production. They organize this education in cooperation with similar family eco-farmsteads, and they're planning to open their own educational center one day.
Planovi za budućnost su nam znači da proširimo još više proizvodnju ljekovitog bilja i da jednostavno pokrenemo edukativni centar ovdje za ekološku poljoprivredu i za ljekovito bilje i znači u kombinaciji sa integrativnom aromaterapijom.
Tatiana and Slavko are in harmony with nature and her rhythms and love everything that life in Nature Park Papuk has offered them. They listen to nature closely inside of themselves and adapt to the daily and seasonal challenges.
Park prirode Papuk zaista ima što pokazati. Ovo područje je, nažalost, još uvijek nepoznato i u Hrvatskoj, ali mislim da je jedno od ljepših područja u cijeloj Hrvatskoj. Prepuno prekrasne prirode, čiste vode i čistog zraka.
Returning to nature and silence, we return to ourselves. You only have to be courageous.
Wow, that's really impressive story, Tatiana.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. And I not only I'm interested into visiting you, but also to move for at least 1 year with these beautiful herbs and everything that you have.
So welcome.
Okay, here in the studio right now, what did you bring with us? What kind of medical herbs?
So this is spearmint. Yeah. This is roots of marshmallow. Yarrow, chamomilla, winter savory, calendula, and lemon balm. And as I mentioned before, wild thyme and apple mint.
Apple mints, okay. If you cannot sleep, what kind of herb do you recommend?
Lemon balm.
Lemon balm, not chamomile.
Yes,
no?
also chamomile, but lemon balm.
Okay, okay. We'll get back to you in a minute. Hroje,
yes.
Can you please tell us the ingredients for this
jam?
It looks very delicious.
Yes.
It really looks delicious.
Only 2 ingredients right now. Just plums and sugar.
Plums, okay. First we wash them first, yes.
First, yes.
Okay.
Remove pits, cut it on small pieces, put it on heavy bottom pan, add half amount of sugar and cook it.
For how long?
About 2-3 hours.
2 to 3 hours?
Yes, yes. Then
that's good.
Yes, then add a rest of amount of sugar and just wait to liquid evaporate. And then as option you can add cinnamon, rum.
Rum is not the option in Croatia.
It's always option.
It's obligatory in Croatia.
Obligatory in Croatia.
Can we put grappa inside, local?
You
you can do it also.
You can, yes.
Okay,
you
okay.
Try.
Okay. And ingredients for the cookies?
Flour.
Flour, of course,
egg,
yes.
baking powder, sugar.
Okay.
Okay.
1 egg.
1 egg. Softened butter.
That's a lot of butter.
Yes, a lot of butter. And lemon zest.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
I just love it when men cook.
Yes.
I don't know, this is... Do you like it, Tatiana,
Me
also?
too.
This is a new thing in the world right now, in the past, especially because of the pandemics. I don't know if you... All the men started to cook.
Yes.
Yes, it's very nice.
New
I like
normal.
it.
Cooking, yes?
It's new normal.
It's new normal,
new
and
normal.
I like that new normal. We don't go to the back old normal.
No old normal.
Okay, so...
No old normal for men.
No. So how come mostly men are cooks in the world? Do you have some kind of idea why is it like that? Mostly men that are also famous.
It's a hard work.
It's a hard work.
Yes, it's a hard work. You must hard work and you must be early bird.
Early bird.
Yes, early bird. Get
no
up
high
very
heels.
early. No high heels.
No high heels. Okay.
And no makeup in the morning.
No I'm not a good cook.
No.
I like men when they're cooking for me. Okay, Tatiana, can we just go through some instructions how to make the tea? I know that kids know how to make a tea, but there's some things that we are not allowed to do.
Yeah, so let's say when we prepare the tea, then we have to leave it a little bit to be colder. Because if we would like, let's say, if we will use honey, this is also my husband is beekeeper, so this is our honey from a wild cherry. This is very rare type of honey, and so we leave the tea a little bit to be colder, and after that we can put a spoon or two of honey.
So never to drink it when
yes,
it's boiled, and
when
never
it's boiled,
to put
yes, because the honey is of course it's very healthy, and the ingredients in honey so will be damaged if you will put it
for
in
the immunity
for immunity system, and for they have lots of minerals and enzymes and so many things. So.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Everything okay?
Yes, everything is done. Is ready. So I will put it now in fridge.
For how long?
For about 1 hour.
For 1 hour. Okay.
Yes, in fridge. But as you know, here in Papuk, time is very relative. So
after 1 hour.
After 1 hour, yes, we have our done. And I will roll it up very tiny, few millimeters. Shape it with. I choose these flowers.
Flowers.
Yes.
Do you have hearts?
This.
For Valentine, yes.
Yes, for Valentine.
Okay.
But this is for Papuk. For hearts, yes. roll it up, put it in the oven for 10 minutes, and decorate with icing sugar and marmalade.
And marmalade is your marmalade or?
No, it's Antonia's marmalade.
And who is Antonia? Let's watch the video. Antonia Zelenica.
Antonia Zelenica, owner of a family farm in the Slavonian village of Velika in a nature park Papuk, makes her homemade jam from rosehip, blackberry, chokeberry, apples, and plums that she harvests on her eco plantation. Cooking these delicacies requires several hours of uninterrupted stirring, but she doesn't mind since she learned about jam from the best teacher, her mother.
Lijepi pozdrav svima. Znači, ja sam Antonija Zelenika, a moj OPG je znači OPG Antonija Zelenika. Bavim se eko uzgojom već 11 godina, znači plantaža šipka, aronije i mješoviti voćnjak.
Her homemade products are praised by many customers, which is not a surprise since they're cooked using traditional methods, without gelatin or additives. They also have the honor of being 100% Papuk. Antonia has a line of products for tourists who like to stay at Nature Park Papuk and bring home a souvenir with a taste of Papuk.
Ovako, ja imam 53 godine i želim promovirati što više ekološku hranu i da na jednoj plantaži ekološko ima svega. Znači, sve je samoniklo, nema otrova i da se mnoga djeca nauče da stvarno ima na hektar i po čuda, da se može reći stvarno se ovdje može ubrati svega i što je ljekovito i zdravo. Budućnost mi je da prenosim mladima, znači da ekologija ima smisla i da ima svu svoju ljepotu. Ova plantaža, ja bih rekla, Bogom dana. Znači, ona je blizu geoparka, parka prirode, a tu sam rođena, znači tu sam ja sa svojim roditeljima kopala, brala, znači uzgajala povrće za nas jer nas bilo puno. Geopark i ova zemlja pokraj šume i ova priroda se treba čuvati. Znači, i jako je bilo iznenađujuće od turista kad su rekli homemade, znači to vi sami proizvodite, ste to vi, da.
Antonia told us that she makes 500 jars filled with 400 grams of jam from 100 kilograms of rosehip. When the harvest is good, she freezes a part of the fresh fruit, which allows her to keep making jam throughout the whole year.
Ove paketiće dobili ste zato što ovdje na ovoj plantaži raste kupina šumska i u njoj imate poklon paket, znači kupina, jabuka s cimetom i aronija. Znači sve raste ovdje na mojoj plantaži i to mi je cilj da probate i da osjetite okus.
The products are delicious and made with a lot of effort. Antonia says that she does everything for a simple reason.
Jer to volim.
And I'm so sorry not to have Antonia with us in the studio. She's a very charming lady. So, Hrvoje, you're going to the stove right now with the cookies. Okay.
Cookies are in the oven.
Okay.
Here.
For how many degrees?
About 200 degrees. 5, 6, 8 minutes.
Only 5 to 6 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
And time flies.
Time flies, of course. In Croatia, in Papuk especially.
And we already have these little flowers, and we will decorate with icing sugar. Put in icing sugar. Here, a little bit marmalade.
From Antonia, yes.
Antonia's marmalade.
But later on we will taste your jam, okay?
Okay, later.
I will be happy to.
With this side.
I'm really into sweets.
Yes. Put it together, like this.
I don't want to ruin my makeup, but so I'll do it later.
Okay.
Okay, this looks very, very nice.
Yes, very nice. So,
for everybody in the studio, we'll have a big breakfast right now.
Yes.
So, dear participants, next time you come to Papuk, baby Hrvoje will cook for you these cookies.
I hope.
Also, and the jam.
Yes.
Okay, let's taste some tea, because the perfect combination is the tea with the cookies, right?
Yes.
So,
would you like to taste the tea?
I can try. It's not boiled right now. Is it perfect temperature right now?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's wait a little, but okay, we can pour it in.
Pour, yes.
In cups. So
you organize also workshops on your family farm?
Yes, I organize, and also special for school children. They are coming to visit us, and then I transfer my knowledge about herbs, about nature,
yes,
and my love for herbs and nature.
Yes. So you have berries, medical herbs,
spices, yes.
What else? The honey.
We have honey, yes. Then so we produce cereals, alfalfa. So we try to produce many things.
Okay, okay. Can I have one cookie, please?
Yes.
Which one is
Which
ready to be eaten? Okay. Okay, dear participants. Now I will have my papuk breakfast while Kristen is taking over right now with her introductions. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. So thank you, Mariana, and thank you for all the kitchen work and also for the videos. I think this was a very great experience for all of us to see people living inside Papuk, doing their work and presenting us in this perfect way. And lucky me, I will have my Papuk breakfast a little bit later. I don't know if Tony Ramsey is able to take notes of the recipes, but maybe we can get them later. But thank you, Tony, for taking notes from the meeting, because it's important for us that we all have the possibility to go back to the notes, and we will, of course, circulate right after the meeting. Dear all, we will have spent time together. We are affected, of course, all of us, by the pandemic. Who would believe 1.5 years ago that we will at this time not be able to meet physically, not be meeting here in Papuk. But I must say that I'm very impressed how our colleagues here have worked in order to make this meeting so interactive as they can, and also be able to present this very important geopark. So we are tired of the pandemics, but we need to go on. We need to continue the networking. And I totally agree with the words from Nicholas that, of course, this is not it's a good solution to meet digitally. But I must say, I'm really looking forward to meet all of you again. I have seen a lot of not so familiar faces in this meeting. We have new participants, some new delegates from existing geoparks. We also have delegates from our new members. I'm not able now to introduce you all, but make sure I will do that the first time we will have the occasion to meet you all. But you are highly welcome, and I'm very happy that you are able to participate. During the last period, since we had our fourth EGN digital forum, we have all had our EGN week. We know that during the EGN week period, it was a new wave of the pandemic in many areas. Despite this, I started to look at some of the reports that have been sent. I'm very impressed how the big diversity of activities that were going on in all our geoparks. Not all of us have managed to do as planned. That's the way it is now. But Barnabas is also collecting. He sent a reminder yesterday for the reports. During the pandemic times, it's very important that we have these reports and that we can keep it for the future to document the activities we managed to have. So please make sure that you send your reports to Barnabas. He will collect them. So it's also good for us as coordinators to see your achievements during this difficult period. As also mentioned before, we are now in the period of revalidations, and many of us are going through both having the revalidations in our own geopark, and also we will go missions. It's time consuming, but it's also a very important part of the work we do. So I'm happy to see that so many colleagues will travel around Europe. It's really sad that we are not able to go to Asia this year, but that's the way it has to be. So I would like to thank you also for your flexibility for making the days and the different arrangements. You have also seen that we have circulated the EGN newsletter number 19, and I would like to take the opportunity to thank again Jutta and Antonio for their great work. And it's a very important tool, because what I did when we were planning for this meeting, because to have this meeting here in Papuk, we had to define the dates. It took time. It was very difficult for our hosts to have this meeting, to know if they could keep some of the funding that they have got, whether they're allowed to change the project from a physical meeting to a digital meeting. So the dates were quite late decided. It was holiday time, so it was a little bit difficult to have contact with our colleagues in order to have presenters. So the newsletter was very important for us to pick some examples, to contact the people that have interesting articles in the newsletter, and ask if they could kindly present their topic in a more broad way during this meeting. And thank you for all of you that were, during a short time, decided or allowed us to have you in the program. Thank you very much. That is another example of how important this newsletter can be. So right after this meeting, we will circulate the email from Jutta and Antonio, telling you that we will have the next newsletter number 20, and maybe also right after I finished my speech, Jutta, maybe you can say just a few words about the theme of the next newsletter. We also, Tony Ramsey is also the main editor of the EGN magazine, and we have decided that we will continue with a new version of the EGN magazine. So he has already sent out one invitation. Important for all our new members to use this opportunity to present our new member, your own geopark. So maybe also Tony can say a few words after my introduction here. I would also like to remind you that it has been said already that EGN is the largest regional network. We are covering a large area, and it's very, very important that we all are active during the common days that are provided or introduced by EGN, and we get nice information. We get the banners, the posters from the EGN Secretariat in Lesvos. So make sure that at least when it's relevant, and all of them should be for all of us, that we have some activities or some digital promotion for the important common days that will come up in the calendar. That said, that is the thing that we are dealing with now. I'm very happy and proud to see the network, how it works. And it is important also to use the different communication channels that we have, to use Facebook and show the rest of the world how active we are. But it's some things that I would like to talk about, and that is the life of being a coordinator and trying to keep everything in order for name lists. Because it's quite complicated. As you know, Barnabas is doing a tremendous job in keeping the Excel sheet updated, but it's maybe a little bit difficult, and especially for new delegates to understand the system. According to our rules, all geoparks are going to have 2 EGN Coordination Committee delegates. These are the ones that we contact. We are obliged to contact our delegates, but also we have substitutes. The substitutes is in our system a separate list And we are not obliged to send all information to substitutes. You, as delegates, are responsible for informing all your colleagues in relevant cases. We try our best, especially for meetings like this, open meetings like this. We invite all the people that we have addresses for substitutes also, to be present during this meeting. And it's a very good opportunity to see some more faces and maybe also hear some more voices. But it's important that we have information from you, and it might take some time until we are able to align our Hotmail email list with a list from Barnabas. So please bear over with us if you are finding mistakes. We do the best we can. It's a bit time-consuming and hard work. So, but I must say also that I have not received all information from some of our new members. I'm not going to say who they are, but it's very important that all the national coordinators, when you know that you have new geoparks in your country, please contact them and check if they have had contact with us as coordinators, and make sure that they contact us with the relevant information so that we can add and update our email list. This is a very strong word from me, because it's very uncomfortable to me to know that I have been unable to contact some of you. So please, please assist us. Please make sure that we have contact with all our nice and good colleagues. Also a reminder of the EGN fee. Not all of you have paid, some are still missing from 2020. You know, the EGN fee is more, it's not a fee for, we are spending this money to host the website, for the magazine, for posters that are made. So it's not really a fee, it's more an administrative thing. So please, we depend on you, that because we need to pay for several issues. It's not paid for people, but for technical assistance and for keeping the different platforms updated. I think that was pretty much what I was going to say. I would like just to close with saying that I'm very proud of being the coordinator of EGN. I'm very, very proud of having so many good colleagues, so hardworking colleagues. And it's a pleasure really to be in Papuk, also to see how during a difficult time, the good team can carry out this beautiful program for us. I'd just like to ask Jutta, are you okay, Jutta, to say just a few words about the newsletter?
Yes, of course, Kristin. Thank you very much. So, also good morning from my side to all of you. It's so nice to see you. And it also especially nice to see you, Kristin, on site directly in Papuk. I was surprised to realize that you're on site. So it's a fantastic meeting, and it's a hybrid format, which is really very interesting. So regarding the newsletter, first of all, thank you very much to all colleagues who have contributed to newsletter number 19. We had a huge amount of contributions, 35 contributions and 19 countries. So it was really a very, very good participation. We had the topic of practices in UNESCO Global Geoparks of Europe. So I think this quite open topic enabled a lot of colleagues to participate in a way, and we had a good selection of good practices which were also suitable for presentations, which we will hear later on today. So, Kristin, I think this fits very, very well, and I'm happy about that. And I am also grateful that you and Barbie support Antonio and myself in the circulation of the newsletter itself and also of the call. So you will receive right after the public meeting the call for newsletter number 20, which has already been mentioned by Kristin. And the title of this newsletter will be UNESCO Global Geoparks from Challenge to Chance. Together we can transform the global crisis. So we think that we have faced a lot of challenges during the last, let's say, 1.5 to 2 years in many ways, during the pandemic, but also during due to climate change. And we are used to facing challenges and to making out the best of it. So European and global geoparks are ideal places to make challenges to change chances. And we have also experienced that together we are stronger than alone. Therefore, if we stay together and we help each other, then we can transform a global crisis from a challenge to a chance. And this is the background of the title of this newsletter. And Antonio and I are really looking forward to receiving your ideas, your contributions, your experiences regarding your challenges and the way how you have transformed them to a chance. And yeah, I think that's all for now. I'm looking forward, and also Antonio is looking forward. And thank you to Christine and Babis who will circulate the call right after the meeting.
Thank you, Jutta. Tony, are you willing to say something about very short on the new upcoming EGN magazine?
Yes. Hello, everybody. I've sent out requests for articles for magazine 19, and I will send out another reminder in this month, just so that you realize that the deadline is the midnight of the 31st of October. Magazine 18 was very successful, a lot of nice contributions. This time in magazine 19, the theme is progress in a time of crisis, which I think is very appropriate for what we're going through. I've also requested articles from new geoparks, and Kristin has emphasized the importance of this, that new geoparks should have the opportunity to present themselves in the magazine. And it's also critical that we have the correct addresses, because this has been a perennial problem ever since I started editing the magazine, I think in about 2005. So that's all I have to say, other than I'm looking forward to receiving your articles. It's nice to hear from everybody, and especially in the sort of situation I'm in now, which is kind of isolated, and certainly isolated from my family. And so it's very nice to hear from everybody, and I look forward to receiving your articles and editing them in November. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. And as you have maybe seen from the program, we have a short session of questions and comments, because I guess you have some questions, but maybe also our next speakers will provide us with information that you are wondering about. So I will now give the word to Nicolas Zoros, as the president of Global Geoparks Network, to give us some updated information about GGN. Nicolas?
Sorry,
good to see you, Nicolas. It's good to see you.
It was a technical problem with my computer, trying to put in order things. I know that the majority of our colleagues are excited to know news about the future activities of GGN. I know also that with great fear we see the development of the pandemic. The news from the world are not good. The news from Europe are still not so good as we expected it to be. And I would like to announce that yesterday we had a meeting with the organizing committee of the upcoming International Conference on UNESCO Global Geoparks, which, as you know, is scheduled for next December in Jeju, Korea. The executive board, together with the UNESCO team, and the organizing committee of the conference decided yesterday that under the current circumstances, it will not be possible to have the conference as we expect it to be, a conference, a normal conference with face-to-face meetings and presentations. The decision was that the conference will be a hybrid one, like the EGN that we have today, with the presence of the authorities and the colleagues of Jeju in the conference center, and the rest of the colleagues through internet in a really digital meeting. I ask for your patience for a few days till the moment that the organizing committee will provide us with the schedule of the sessions. And I would like to encourage you to inscribe in this digital conference that cannot be further. And we hope that during September, you will get all the information regarding not only the conference, but also the important meetings that are associated with the conference. As you know, we have all the meetings related with the EGN, and for all these things, we are going to have a special meeting of the executive board of the EGN during the next weeks in order to provide the full schedule of all these meetings to you and, of course, to all the geoparks, UNESCO, and everybody else who is interested about the development of the global geoparks network. Unfortunately, we have to fight with the challenges that we have in front of us. And pandemic will continue at least for the next months in a way that make it impossible to have our face-to-face meeting. But I strongly believe that it's not possible to replace the quality of the face-to-face contact. We just need to be patient. We need to use our electronic tools to have the opportunity to communicate in the digital way. But I strongly believe that sooner or later, we will be in position to meet again, to embrace each other, to feel the power of the human contact, which for me is extremely important, and especially for networks like our network, which is not a fossilized bureaucratic mechanism, but a real human network of people who have feelings, face difficulties, and try to overpass these difficulties altogether. From the very beginning, we supported each other. And the European way of solving problems was always the driving force of this network. So I strongly believe that we will come back and we will continue our great effort to work for our communities, taking strength for our partners, from our activities, for the great visibility of our areas. We are representing areas which are really, before geoparks, were completely lost from the map. And now we have 169 stars, 89 stars in all Europe, starting from the Atlantic till the Urals, as it was the dream for the very, very beginning of this network. We have to continue. we have to continue our efforts of collaboration, of sharing, of using our human network, which is the biggest capital that we have in the global network. And believe me, I strongly believe to the force of the European network. And I hope that very soon we will manage to be all together and work again in the normal way, because we do know that this is not the normal thing. So please keep connected. Please keep supporting our networking. Please exchange with your colleagues. Please continue dreaming and creating new programs, new opportunities of collaboration. And believe me, there are many examples, even these 2 difficult years, that show the strength of the global geoparks network, of the European geoparks network. Let's continue in that way.
Thank you very much, Nicholas. I think we are all disappointed, but maybe not really surprised, because of course we are living in the same pandemic. But it's important also for our hosts that a decision is made, even though it's not the desired one. Thank you very much for the information, and then we continue with the information from UNESCO, our good and important partners in the geoparks. So, Christoph, maybe you also have some information to give from on behalf of UNESCO.
Hello, Kristen, and good morning, everyone. Again, I hope you hear me.
Yep.
All right. Thank you very much. Yes, well, of course, with our partners, with EGN and with the regional networks, we try to cope with the situation as good as we can. I already hinted at it in my introductory remarks. We are conducting a risk assessment here on a daily basis. We are monitoring the situation worldwide, not only in Europe, of course, to see how the pandemic impacts the different countries and the different geoparks. And this is important for, of course, for the organization of our evaluation and revalidation missions. As I said, for the time being, we have about 30 missions planned, evaluation and revalidation missions confounded, all of them in Europe for the time being. But we hope that soon the situation improves as well, at least in Latin American countries, and that we can pursue this important work there as well. So once again, I would like to thank here everyone involved, and in particular in the European Geoparks Network, for taking that small risk somehow, and I'm absolutely recognizing this, but I'm very happy that many people are comprehensive and flexible in that. So this is at least a great achievement and a big progress compared to last year, where actually everything was put on hold. I hope we can actually see an improvement in the next coming months, even if indeed what we are seeing right now is a little bit scary. I wish to maybe quickly mention as well, Kristen, if this is all right, the strategy that UNESCO engaged in to promote the concept further, because as everyone knows, it is very strong in Europe, it is very strong in Asia, but I think it is important that if we take ourselves serious and we really want to move forward and expand the network, we have to look what we can do with Africa, with the Arab states, and in particular as well with the small island development states. These are all areas that are very curious to learn from us, that are very curious to expand the geoparks network, but we notice on a daily basis that actually the understanding of the concept is rather weak. And we found a very strong partner, not only in GGN, but as I said as well, in the regional networks as well, and in particular in individual experts and individual geoparks people, like many of you here are connected, were willing to help us in making this strategy work. We've tried a few times in the past with mitigated success, I would say. This time we're tackling this a little bit more in a strategic manner. We're setting up webinars in order to make the concept more known. And then we engaged as well together with GGN in what we called UNESCO GGN Grant, which is actually a tailor-made, it's a personalized guidance for these emerging initiatives. And when we launched this for Africa and for the Arab states earlier this year, we had 24 proposals coming in from Africa and from the Arab states, of which 4 were selected. And I'm very happy that despite the circumstances, we can actually assist those sites, and we're planning to do the same thing for the SIDS later this year. So this is a very quick update, just to tell you as well that here at UNESCO I see as well that there is an incredibly growing interest as well, because member states have seen as well the power of geoparks. If I may compare this to other site designations here, it's probably one of the most future-proof concepts. Not only because it perfectly manages to reconcile the protection of the heritage with development, with sustainable development, with tourism development, but I see as well this growing interest in reaching the sustainable development goals, be it climate change, water management, energy management, the involvement of women, the involvement of youth, and I'm a bit sorry that with Jeju not happening in person, this may jeopardize probably our first youth forum. But we plan actually to do this on a digital way, and I'm very sure that we will be creative and inventive, and that we will get a lot of support of these youth representatives of the different geoparks and to help us with this. But we have high hopes that the youth, the Geoparks Youth Forum, will be a support for the program in the future as well. So this was just in a very nutshell an update of where we stand and where we try to stand in the next coming months. Let me thank everyone for the support. Thank you very much, Kristen.
So thank you, Christoph. Again, also important information. And I think also the words both from Nicolas and from Christoph makes us also proud to be part of this network that are working ahead the future. And also the big issue, of course, how we can assist African areas and also other areas of the Europe of the world that is having few geoparks now and are willing to spend time and money on this. It is important. It is a global network, and I'm looking forward to see the progress in these areas. We have a session now for questions and comments. So it's, I guess some of you might have some questions, comments, any feedback. So it will be nice if you just Mariana, you are going to help me because I'm very far away from the screen. I don't see any hands or anything, so.
I can read the comments. I can read the questions. So far, we have only positive comments.
Oh, that's nice.
That's nice, and regards from all over the world. But we would like to have some questions also.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they can also use a chat if you have anything. If you are a bit shy to use your voice, but it's for me very good to hear your voices. But maybe you are all just shocked that there will be no Jeju meeting. I mean, we'll not be able to see each other until next year. Hopefully, we will do it then.
Yes.
I can just remind people. I forgot one thing during my information that of course our colleagues in Teravita and Hunsrück is started already to plan for the meeting in the spring meeting in Hunsrück Geopark in yes, March next year. So we are hoping.
Yes, so let's hope for the best. Okay, still no questions.
Martina,
yes?
Martina is raising her hand.
Raising her hand.
Martina.
We can.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. So firstly, I want to congratulate PAPUK to this fantastic activity conference because I was revalidated in this beautiful area. So nice memories. Of course, we are all set about Jeju conference situation. Anyway, regarding Youth Forum, I wanted to ask, we have specific situation because our young delegate is already in Korea. He is studying half a year at university. So in this case, he could be present on the conference or not? Thanks so much.
I think maybe Nicolas or Christophe can comment on that.
Well, the restrictions, the current restrictions in Korea is different than the situation in December. So we have to be a little bit patient. The situation is really ongoing. So we have to give later such kind of information in November, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. We have one question in the chat forum in Zoom. Are there any provisional dates for the Honsrug Teravita Spring Meeting 2022?
Maybe I think I don't think Hartmut is present. I think Greta, you are present. Maybe you can talk a little bit about your preparations.
Yes. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
There's an echo. I'm sorry about that. I don't know what's the reason. But we are indeed fully in the preparation. I'm sorry that I have not the dates at the moment to share with you, but I will find them and put them in the mail, in the chat. And we also have already a provisional program. We shared it with Christine, with the board, and agreed on it already. So it won't take much time to share it with you.
Thank you, Greta. And sometime in March, I think we have agreed. So the dates will come, but it's very good to see the progress and that you already planned so well. So thank you for your assistance.
Can we have? Do we see any hands? No, no hands so far.
So if there are no more comments, we can proceed in the program. We will have a quite tight schedule today, but obviously now we are a little bit ahead schedule. I think that is good to have it like that.
Yes.
So as you know, the celebration in Papuk 1.5 years ago, that was planned to be the big celebration of the EGN 20 years or first years of EGN. This didn't happen, and it was maybe not so logical to have some kind of celebration this year. But of course, we cannot just leave it like that. So we have invited Nicolas Ouros to give us a short time journey about the 21st years of the EGN history. And this is just the beginning of a remarkable journey. And I think also when we look back, it has really been a remarkable journey so far. So Nicolas, we are eager to hear if you have been able in such a short time to prepare some good memories for all of us.
Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, everybody. I will try to share my screen. I hope you see. It's okay?
Yeah, we see it now, Nicolas.
Okay.
You put it on full screen.
Yeah, I think
good. Now it's okay.
Thanks a lot. I would like to thank, first of all, Kristen and Babis for giving me the opportunity to dig a little bit in my archive and collect some memories of this remarkable 21 years of operation of the European Geoparks Network. You will permit me to give more emphasis in first years. Why? Because we are growing and the network is growing, and I think it's important to keep the memory of what was some years ago that make possible the creation of the European Geoparks Network? Well, this was the poster in January 2020. During this period, many things stayed, but at least our family remains as it was, with the strength of our geoparks, with the celebration of the different events, with the digital meetings that we had all these years. We never forget that we are a network of cooperation. And this is what we would like to emphasize with the first banners for the celebration. Today we have already 21 years. And this is the map, the current map with 89 geoparks, really from the Atlantic till the Urals. It was a dream. The first meeting that was held in Estrago, Spain, in October 2020, where we met representatives from all the different countries in the frame of the Leader Partnership, the Leader Program of the European Union. We were discussing and dreaming for a network that will not be just a tool coming from a European program, but it will be a real network of cooperation throughout Europe, the real Europe, the continent of Europe, the Europe that is from the Atlantic to the Urals, and that this network will manage to tell stories and to present the common history of our continent, the forces of the earth that saved our landscapes and inspired people to build civilization continent. Because our communities were always connected with the landscape and the geology, with the forces of the earth that sculpture our landscape and create the beauty of our geological environment. And at the same time, give birth to life, to ecosystems, the variety of the ecosystems in all Europe, of the network Natura 2000, and many, many more. That this is our natural capital, that together with our cultural capital represent our identity, our European identity, that make this place of the earth so special. Everything is reflected in our history. And permit me to go a little farther and just say why it was a necessity, the creation of this network 21 years ago. Because in most countries, earth heritage conservation, an important element for our history, for understanding of the operation of our planet, was not and still is not a priority. The geoparks concept, which was developed in Europe in cooperation with UNESCO, based on that, on the use of this heritage, the geological formation and landscapes, which are witness to the history of life, as a tool for an holistic approach to nature conservation and to the well-being of the communities in our continent. That's how the European Geoparks Network started in June 2000 by 4 European territories, from Germany, from France, from Spain, and from Greece, to become very soon after the meeting of October 2000 in Maestrago, the first nucleo of the European network, with 12 members that started cooperation, started meetings, and soon, very soon, became many more, 32 just in 2009, 9 years later. And this network continued growing. The EGN, with the support of UNESCO, became larger and stronger from 39 to 40 to 50 to 54 to 58 years pass, and the European network is growing to 65 members, to 70 members, to 75 members in 2020, and already in 2021, 81 members, and during 2021, with the 8 new members that have been attributed to our UNESCO Global Geoparks and the Global Geoparks Network, the European Geoparks Network has already the 89 members of the first slide. You see how the network has developed. And we see that this is not just stars on a map, but are places where we protect the geological heritage. This is a nice example of one of the first of those 12 geoparks, Terra Vita, UNESCO Global Geopark in Germany. Or again, a picture from one of the very first geoparks, the Vulkaneifel Geopark in Germany, where we see the first group of students participating in one of the first European educational program in a volcanic crater in Vulkaneifel. The landscape of Maestrago, the geopark that came back to our family recently, but is one of the founding members of the European Geoparks Network, are fascinating. And I cannot stop saying about the first transborder geopark in the world, the Marble Arch Caves European Geopark in Ireland and United Kingdom. We try to transfer the European borders of tension of the past to territories of cooperation, of well-being of the people. This is one of the most important contributions of the global geoparks and the European geoparks to the world. And this idea of the transborder geoparks was born here in Europe. And little by little, this idea was further developed within the geoparks. This is one of the first groups in the first years of the Lesbos Geopark, at that time, the Lesbos Petrified Forest Geopark, when a small group of students from the village next to the geopark just after its nomination came to the Petrified Forest, and after that, the small students donated fossils back to the museum as one of the first activities for geoconservation within the European Geoparks Network. And of course, another beautiful picture coming from the Forest for Geopark in Wales, in United Kingdom, where we see how the beautiful landscapes can become areas where families can enjoy and hear the stories of the landscapes of Europe. The Bohemian Paradise European Geopark in Czech Republic, another one of the first geoparks of the first 10 years of the geoparks development in Europe, or the Capo de Gata geopark in Spain, the southernmost geopark in Europe, which was a bridge for the connection with also the colleagues in Morocco, where the first geopark in Africa was built, and Guerra Norvegica, the geopark of our coordinator, a fantastic landscape in the far north that reminds us the forces of the ice on the landscape of our planet, and many more other stories that make our network more strong and more cohesive, that gives us the picture of the geological evolution of Northern Europe as it started in back in 2006. And the Mello-Brenta Geopark in the Italian Alps, in the Dolomites. It hosts also sites of outstanding universal value of UNESCO World Heritage Site, but is the geopark that makes the real difference to the local communities. Is the geopark that through its programs, through its activities, make the products of this very special place so special and give further income to the people living under difficult conditions in the Alps. So I have to mention the first connection with UNESCO, because we all go back to 2015 already, when the UNESCO Global Geoparks has been established. But we have to remind to everybody that the connection between geoparks and UNESCO go back to time. And I would like to remind that in April 2001, just a few months after the creation of the European Geoparks Network, the first cooperation agreement between the Division of Earth Sciences and the European Geoparks Network was signed in Cabo de Gata Níjar in Spain, and thus UNESCO became the permanent partner in the EGN coordination team with a veto right to all decisions. At that time, was not possible to realize our dream, to make geoparks a part of the UNESCO structure. We had to wait for 15 years. And then in 2015, this dream became a reality. And believe me, without the efforts of the European Geoparks Network, without the contribution of all the European partners, this could not be something real. This could not be something that could have such a success. I go on because we have so many issues to remember. We have to remember that in October 2004, the Madonie Declaration was signed between the European Geoparks Network and the UNESCO after the formation of the Global Geoparks Network, and was the European Geoparks Network that was the main nucleus for the creation of the global network, and also a point of reference for the development of the Global Geoparks Network in the world, in all other continents. It's extremely important that the European network, having the culture of equality, of using each one in the same, and treat each one of its members in the same way, and having the mechanism of taking decision which involved all the individual partners, from the oldest one to the youngest one. This was the mechanism of making our network great, of making our family so excellent, and to have the achievements that already was underlined by Christophe in his speech, that this network within UNESCO after 2015 is one of the most active networks of any UNESCO designation. And believe me, this is the achievement of the European Geoparks Network, because this spirit was transferred to the global geoparks network and became a global tool of cooperation, sharing same values with all the other colleagues around the globe. And let's think of the first meeting after the Beijing meeting, which was the first international meeting. The other two were hosted in Europe and was the foundation of the global network. And I want to say that both Belfast and Osnabrück in 2006 and 2008 were moments of inspiration for the globe about geological heritage, was moments of joining together UNESCO, the different partners around the globe, and all the international associations due to the work that has been done and the coordination of the European Geoparks Network. And that's how, little by little, was developed the global network. And believe me, the structure of EGN that we still have, this was the structure some years ago in the first phase with the advisory committee and the coordination committee, the coordinator and the vice coordinator and the coordination cellule that continues till now are the elements of continuation, but also elements of strength within the global network. Also, the European Geoparks Network was the one that proposed the Geopark Action Plan, something that is a tool now, is within our regulations of UNESCO. But this Geopark Action Plan was something that was developed within the European Geoparks Network. And we have to remember that all the ideas for dealing with the enhancement of natural and cultural heritage, the identification, assessment, and conservation of geosites, because does not offer anything to make just list without giving a contribution to the safeguarding of these sites. The infrastructure created by geoparks, the geotouristic and educational activities, the promotional activities, the support of the local business, the monitoring and review, and also the international cooperation through EU funding was the first Geopark Action Plan proposed by the European Geoparks Network and implemented not only in European geoparks, but all around the globe. So this was a great achievement. And we have also to say that in Europe, in the Arouca Geopark, through the European network, we managed to join with partners and develop geotourism concept. Because for us, geotourism should be defined as the tourism which sustains and enhances the identity of a territory, taking into consideration its geology, environment, culture, aesthetics, heritage, but also the well-being of the residents of its territory. And this is a European concept that became a global concept with the contribution of National Geographic, of other international institutions like IUGS and IUCN, our partners. And also this gave birth to economic activities around rural areas in Europe. Through geotourism, we managed to revitalize local communities, to bring people in the areas which were before abandoned. And here you see a group of tourists visiting one of the most fascinating geoparks in Europe, the Sobrarbe UNESCO Global Geoparks in the Spanish Pyrenees. Communication and promotion was something important, and you see different examples from European geoparks. The first leaflets, the first books about geoconservation were born and created in Europe through the efforts of the European network, but also tools for geo-education. Is not just using the first tools. This is one of the first meetings of the European Geoparks Network in Haute-Provence. I'm sure that you can identify some of our colleagues that are not anymore with us, and some that still continue. And this is the Georium created by Haute-Provence Geopark a few 2 decades ago, and was an excellent tool within the museum there to educate the people for the geological heritage and items related with our geological past. Supporting local business, supporting women cooperatives, creating opportunities for these local communities to meet the world, opening windows for local products. We have seen the excellent example before from Papuk, and I think that I don't need to say more about how geoparks contributed to the local development after the excellent presentation from Papuk. And of course, quality local products and gastronomy, the basis for the development of geotourism, together with the landscapes, the geological attractions, and the biodiversity. Our common promotional tools from the very beginning show how we work together. And there are several tools that have been created during this 21 years, leaflets for the presentation of the network, the European Geoparks magazine, the excellent contribution of Tony Ramsey, the excellent contribution of all our members make this tool a real publication, a reference publication for the development of geoparks in Europe, for the development of geoparks in the world, and a real tool for contributing to all the other territories, aspiring geoparks that can get information from this magazine. The EGN website was from the very first beginning a tool of cooperation and sharing of information. The geoparks book, flags and logos, kit of presentation panels of the network, and of course the Geopark Corner in each geopark that gives the opportunity for the presentation of our geoparks in the world. Some of the first geopark magazines, these are one of the very, very first one published in Germany by the team of Vulcan Eiffel. This is the first European geoparks book. We are going to have the digital version, which will be distributed at the end of this month. And I would like to go back to 2008, the first global geoparks fair in Osnabrück in Germany, where all geoparks have been prepared to show how deep are the roots in promoting geopark territories to the public. Our presentation in geopark fairs, this is one of the first participation in Fitur in Madrid with the European geoparks, international meetings everywhere in Northwest Highlands, in North Pennines, in Italy, in Beigua, and all these are the history, the roots, the common roots, the tools that make our network what it is today. I know that I did not present the complete picture. I know that I had to emphasize the first period because it's already in the history and is already forgotten. It is unfortunately unknown to the majority of the new members. So forgive me for giving emphasis to this first period, but I believe that people have to know their roots, and our network has to know the roots that make geoparks what they are today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Nicholas. This was a very good overview. And I don't know about you. I'm of course very, very proud, but I'm also very touched by this presentation, to see the remarkable journey, to see all we have achieved. Of course, it's interesting to know that it started with Europe, but it's also so good to see that now we are the global network, we are really working together, and we have all these common tools, we are all doing this interesting and important tools that we share, and we are looking ahead. And of course, Nicholas, I totally agree, to be functioning as a network, to be functioning for the future, we need to know the roots, and that is exactly what we know as geoscientists also. And thank you for also making me feel a little bit old. I realize how long I have been in this network, so maybe that is why I now need a break.
You definitely, Kristen, need a break. I will applaud for you.
Thank you.
For being my great co-host so far. Thank you so much. And have a coffee, please.
Yeah, I will go for a coffee. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's proceed with our forum. Due to the fact that you do all know that we had strong earthquakes in 2020 in Croatia, today in the studio I have a new guest. He is the professor Marijan Herak from the Department of Geophysics, Faculty of Science in Zagreb. Professor, welcome. We have to do this.
Yes. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for asking me.
No big earthquakes recently in the last...
Define big.
Okay, 5.5.
Not in Croatia.
Not in Croatia right now, yes. Okay.
We had a small one in Croatia today.
Today?
Yes, near Šibenik.
Near Šibenik, this is where I come from. How many? 2.2.
3.2.
3.2. It's like medium.
It was well felt.
Okay, I have to call my parents after this to see if they're okay. Okay, you can right now start your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'll be speaking about is a little bit of introduction to earthquake hazard in the vicinity of where we are now. These are the Slavonian Mountains, the vicinity of the Papuk UNESCO Global Geopark. And this is not, okay. So what we see here is the instrumental seismicity recorded since 1910 all the way to almost today. And you see that this little spot is an epicenter of an earthquake. Slavonian Mountains are to the right in the middle of Slavonia. Papuk Park is outlined with green. And you can see that there are quite a lot of earthquakes around this area, especially to the south, to the southeast, beneath the Dilj mountain. And these are the largest earthquake that we have in our catalog in these parts. The most important ones for the purpose we have today are the three earthquakes that occurred in the first one in 1757 near Virovitica. This is the dark red one up there. The intensity was 8. I don't see. Okay. Distance to the park was 27 kilometers. The next one is 1964, Slavonski Brod. Many people still remember this earthquake. It was a very large, important earthquake, intensity 8, a little bit stronger than the earthquake in Zagreb that we had this year. And the closest one to us is 1995 in Požega with the epicentral intensity of 7 on the European macroseismic scale. Of interest are also the 3 earthquakes, one the Great Zagreb earthquake of 1880, and the 2 earthquakes that occurred this year near Zagreb and Petrinja. This is somehow not working. Okay. So just a little bit more about those most important ones. So the earthquake of 1757 had a foreshock on 27 June. The earthquake caused cracks in the ground, liquefaction, mud volcanoes, and the damage in Virovitica was so heavy that Virovitica looked like after a battle, according to the reports from the contemporary people. Many houses collapsed there. In 1964, as I said, the large earthquake occurred near Slavonski Brod. Over 2,000 houses were damaged, 10,000 people had to move into tents, and 60 people were injured, 2 of them died. You can see the damage to your lower right-hand side in Vukovar, which was 80 kilometers away. So this was a large, significant earthquake, and we should not forget that it can happen again. The most recent one is the 25 August 1995, close to Požega. And, for instance, Požega Museum and the Church of St. Philip and Jacob on the Vučjak Street were also damaged. This was a significant earthquake. Magnitude was 5. And I must include another one, and this is the most important earthquake, one of the most important earthquakes in the world. This is the earthquake that occurred on Kupa Valley on the same fault system that caused the Petrinja earthquake last year. And it is the earthquake that inspired Andrija Mohorovicic for his fundamental discovery of the discontinuity between earth crust and the mantle. And Andrija Mohorovicic is the greatest Croatian scientist of all times. Please remember the photograph on the right lower side. This is the Sisak church that was damaged by the earthquake of 1909. Sorry. How do I go back? I don't go back. Back one more. Okay. So when you know a good deal about the seismicity of any region, then you can produce what is known as the seismic hazard map. And here we have the Croatian seismic hazard map. The values that you, first of all, the colors, of course. The warmer they are, the hazard for earthquakes is higher. So you see 3 areas here that are distinguished: Zagreb area, Vajda Rijeka area, and Dalmatia. But also a big yellow patch there in Slavonia. Don't forget about it. This map tells you how to build buildings that will be resistant against earthquakes. If you follow the prescription that is coded into this map, you can relax and live in your house without much worry of the incoming earthquakes. This is the complete instrumental seismicity 1910 until 2019. And this is just 1 year later. So if you compare this doesn't work today. If you compare the two figures, you will see how large impact the following year made, the 2020. There is a Chinese proverb that disasters never come alone, and Croatians learned that it's true last year. First, we had the COVID-19 pandemic onset. The number of cases in Croatia surpassed 200 for the first time on 21 March last year. Already schools, universities, kindergartens have been closed. A day later came Zagreb earthquake. On 22 March, magnitude was 5.5. It caused 1 death, many injured, and a huge damage that is estimated to about 10 billion euros. And if this was not enough, we also had the third disaster, a large one, the Petrinja earthquake of 29 December with magnitude of 6.4. Petrinja earthquake began with a foreshock. You can see the foreshock sequence you can follow the first 2 days of seismicity. The foreshock sequence is going on. We are still on 28th of December. Now there will be a lull for about 1 day. And until the foreshock comes, I can tell you that this earthquake has been already studied quite deeply. You can see the results of satellite interferometry on the right-hand side. These are the displacements of the ground measured from the satellites. And now we know that the earthquake occurred on what we call a strike slip fault. So this is the vertical fault, where the walls of the fault slide past one another. And you can see the aftershocks on the left. And the measured displacements was about, relative displacement of the walls was about 1 meter at the surface. More, of course, at the focal depth. Here you can see the aftershocks of the first 3 months. So we have located 1 less than 6,600 aftershocks of the Petrinja earthquake. The earthquake itself caused a huge damage in Petrinja, and not just in Petrinja, but in all settlements in the epicentral region. 7 people died, over 50,000 buildings were damaged. Total damage exceeded 5 billion euros, add to that the 10 billion in Zagreb. What was peculiar, but not unexpected, is the widespread effects of liquefaction and mud volcanoes. And more than 110 sinkholes open in the shaken area. Some of them were really huge and very deep. You can see an example several examples in these photos. And the Sisa Cathedral that was damaged by the 1909 earthquake was again damaged by the 2020 Petrinja earthquake. This is an animation of the theoretical computation how the waves spread from the Petrinja earthquake focus. I will not go into much detail, but you can notice that you have light colors and darkened colors. Dark colors are larger amplitudes. So the amplitudes were not the same at the same epicentral distance at the same time. And this was because of the observed now, for instance, in the Sava Valley to the right and north, larger amplitudes than to the south and west, because those are in the Sava plain, in the soft material, and the other ones were in the mountains. This was done by colleagues of mine, and this is the way that we can learn how the ground will shake in the future earthquakes. To conclude, we know that Slavonian mountains have relatively high seismic hazard. We should not forget it. We know that strong and damaging earthquakes have happened here before, and they'll occur again. The lessons that we learned so far, and the lessons that we will learn in the months and years to come from the Zagreb and Petrinja earthquake that were excellently recorded, will help us to better prepare for the futures that will inevitably hit us again. And we know how to protect ourselves. This is by building according to the codes, according to the norms, which are constantly improved. And on the photograph here, you see an iconic building. This is Beckins warehouse in San Francisco, which was the only building left standing in this neighborhood after the great San Francisco earthquake of 1906. Why was it left standing? Because it was the only building in San Francisco that was made by reinforced concrete. So we must learn from that. We know that we can build such houses that will not collapse in the future earthquakes. and we should do so. We can do so by knowing our enemy, and our enemies are the earthquakes. And we must continue to learn as much as possible about the earthquakes that are likely to hit our country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor. I have so many questions, but I'm allowed to ask you at least 3 right now, because I do live in the capital in Zagreb. And of course, I was in Zagreb 22nd of March at 6:30 a.m. I remember it was Sunday morning.
Yes, it was.
And it badly hit. And I remember that my building was shaking like crazy. I was dreaming that I was on a boat like this. Is it normal that this building is
You live in a city block or in a solitary building?
In a city block and the 8th floor, yes.
Yeah, you were rather high. I was on the 6th floor also in the city block. And the fact that buildings are swaying is a good thing.
Yes.
You know, it is like a tree. The elastic tree will just bend in the wind. A firm old tree can be broken by wind. So there is always a fine interplay, because the ductility or the elasticity of the building and the rigidity, and the civil engineers do their best to find the best compromise. And they can do that if they have, if they obey the codes, the Eurocode 8 that is applied in Croatia, and if the seismologists give them the correct indication, what will the shaking be like when the earthquake occurs? So if your building survived, then the builders did a good job.
I don't know, 1963, Skopje was when?
1963.
I don't know if they made good grounds. Probably, yes.
After that earthquake, the codes, building codes improved, but they were still way below what we expect today.
Okay.
And but I was rather surprised that buildings from that age, which is also my building, survived with minor damage.
Can we predict it somehow? Because I watched on the news, on the CNN, they allegedly invented some machine which can predict 2 to 3 seconds before it strikes. Yeah. Is it possible?
This is not a prediction. So what you're talking about is early warning.
Yes.
So when the earthquake occurs, if you have a very dense network of instruments, of seismographs, the earthquake waves travel about, let's say, 4 kilometers per second. The information travels much faster. So when the seismometer very close to the earthquake epicenter senses the earthquake, it can send the information, say, to Zagreb from Petrinja, and you will have 6 to 7 seconds advanced warning. But in Petrinja, it would be useless.
Yes.
People in Petrinja would receive the warning that they are just shaking. Even in Zagreb, earthquake, we felt it 2 seconds after it occurred.
Yes.
So we would not have time to record it, to locate it, and to send any kind of message. This is very useful for places on the Earth where the earthquakes are distant and still pose a threat, like Mexico. Mexico City was destroyed by the earthquake that was 300 kilometers away. In California, in Japan, and they have such networks, in place. It works.
So it's like 2 to 3 seconds before, up to 6 seconds.
Well, it depends how far the epicenter is. The further it is, you can have warning, but the further it is, you are less interested in that.
What can you do in these 6 seconds? What can you do? What do you suggest?
You can turn off, for instance, automatically gas. You can stop the elevators. You can stop the trains. Everything that Japanese do for decades now. But again, in a country that is mostly threatened by the local earthquakes, by the earthquakes that are beneath our feet, so to say, this is less useful.
So do you think that this one that hit Zagreb in March was that one that they were like predicting for 150 years that they will occur, or we don't know?
Not predicting. We were saying that it will occur sometime.
Yeah.
We knew that it will occur sometime, and even this is not the one. We are expecting a larger one,
oh
like
my God.
1880. 1880 was a considerably larger earthquake, like the one in Petrinja.
6.4, yes, also.
6.2, 6.2, just about the same as Petrinja.
People are shocked in Croatia. They really had the shock trauma, especially the first one, then the second one in Petrinja. What can we do to stay normal, to stay strong, in a psychological way? How to accept the unaccepted?
Well, if you live in a nice country, you will always be threatened by earthquakes.
Okay.
So if you want to live in a dull country with no mountains, the earthquakes will not be a problem. The earthquakes are something that we are the only natural disaster that we know how to keep with in advance. So we can build buildings that will not kill us, that will not collapse. And if we do that, then the earthquakes are not dangerous anymore. They are, in fact, the only natural disaster that is actually not dangerous. If you are out in the fields,
it's okay.
You will just shake. It will even be fun. But when you live in an unsafe house, in a house that is not properly kept, which is very important, then you must be aware that you are taking risk. If you do not want to take risks, then build your house properly, maintain it properly, and when the earthquake occurs, just wait until it passes.
So from the 60s in Croatia, they started to use this concrete that you mentioned.
Yes, reinforced concrete, armirani beton. Yes. So this is, but you still have to do it right, correctly.
Of course.
You can make mistakes, but if you follow the codes and our civil engineers really know what they're doing, I think this is the only way to do it.
Yes, we have to accept that we live in this...
In the earthquake country.
Yes. But they say that Istria is safe.
Istria is more or less the safe, yes, because it is part of another tectonic unit, the Adriatic plate. The earthquakes in Istria itself are very rare, and if they occur, they are not strong. But people living close to Rijeka, or close to Slovenia, close to Friuli, can still be pretty well shaken.
Okay, let's hear some comments or questions. You can send it. I have it. Hello, hello, hello from so many countries. I have to admit some new persons in the room. Welcome. Very clear and interesting speech. Okay, great presentation, Professor.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation.
More, thank you.
And, okay, I'm still afraid, okay? You didn't help me.
Everybody is afraid. I was terrified after.
Are you afraid?
I was terrified. I did everything I did in the following hour or so was wrong. Although I knew how to behave, but this is once in a lifetime or never in a lifetime experience.
Okay, what can I do on the 8th floor? Okay, first it shakens me, I get up, I feel I don't know what to do.
Just wait.
Just wait, okay.
Just wait. Hide yourself somewhere where nothing can fall on your head.
Okay.
And wait.
For another one.
Until it stops. Well, if you wait for another one and another one happens, you will be happy that you waited because you will not be in the elevator or on the staircase or even just outside the street so that the tile can fall on your head.
Sometimes it's better to be inside than outside because people...
If you are outside, please be sure that you are away from the buildings because it is very dangerous to be in the streets when the earthquake occurs. Tiles, chimneys we've seen in Zagreb. Practically every chimney was damaged.
But everybody goes out.
Well, everybody goes out, but I think people, from my experience, people were aware of that, and they gathered in the parks, in the center of the streets. People were even reminded because all the debris was next to the houses, so you do not want to be where debris is already there.
My sister, I remember she was out and she said, okay, I just stood by the tree. And I said, okay, I don't know if this is good.
It's okay.
It's okay, yes.
Probably a branch can break, but You do not want anything over your head.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much. If we have any hands up in the air right now for some comments or for some questions for Professor. Or I think this is it. I don't have any questions in my chat form. So, Professor, thank you so much. Less geohazards, less earthquakes in whole world. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There are classes here.
Okay, right now we'll have a short musical break. So we have pupils, students from Musical School of Požega. They will perform for us 3 songs. So first of all, I have here Daniela Greiza on trumpet, also on piano Ana Oric, and they will perform Sonata for Trumpet from IBO. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Big thanks to Daniela and Anna, and also teacher Matija Šeremet. Another song right now will be performed, Sean Rosmarin, by Nikola Vilus. He'll be using original Croatian national instrument called brač. You're welcome, Nikola. Bravo. Thank you so much. Another song will be performed by Mia Ragush, soprano, on piano Andrei Sheper. The song is Lilac Tree. You're welcome. Nice dress. It goes great with the couch and my shoes.
Ecstasy of bliss, said the little boy to the little girl, pray give me just one kiss. The girl drove back in great surprise, you're a stranger, sir, said she, and I will give you just one kiss when the apples grow on a lilac tree. The boy felt very sad of heart, she was the only one. The girl felt quite remorseful at the terrible wrong she had done. So bright and early on the very next morn, he was quite surprised to see his little sweetheart standing in the garden, tying apples on a lilac tree.
Thank you so much. Mia, you have an excellent and beautiful voice. So, dear participants, we've come to the end of the first part of our conference. Right now, we'll have a short break, 40 minutes. Take a walk, take a nap, take a rest, have lunch, and we'll be back at noon 10. Thank you so far.